everyone, Jacqueline here. So today I want to give you an update on how my containers are doing and just show you some of the flowers that are in bloom in the garden. And the first thing I want to share with you is how those pots are doing in the driveway. These were a real wild variety of colors that I used in here, and you can see they're starting to fill out. And I'll share with you some of the things I like and some of the things I don't like in the way I did this container, because you can always make improvements. So first of all, I'm going to point out the magenta petunias here. These are a wave petunia. What I've learned about these, and I have them in my flower beds too, is that they are a spreader horizontally but not vertically, so they crawl down. So technically these are great on the outside of a pot, but they need a little bit of snipping to keep them under control. But they're pretty just the same. The other thing I think I made a mistake on was I should have put snapdragons around the entire center of the pot to even the pot out. Because now the pot is higher over here, lower over there. So something I learned with these flowers to be more aware of the next time I plant up my pots. If I'm going to use snapdragons, spread a whole bunch out. Normally I do, but I didn't have that many and I didn't do it. So live and learn. This pot was also supposed to have coleus in it. That didn't work out. They just didn't make it because we were just too cold. This container here, the colors are really nice. If you are a pink purple lover, then this mix is for you. It's got that bling from the magenta petunia, and then it's got the softness from the denim wave, and then we have the pink wave here, and I think it's looking really pretty. And then we do have some white on it too. And it's a little hard for me to video these too much because somebody put the water on, so I have to be careful I don't get my camera all wet, and then that would be the end of the video. So but you can see here we have some white right over here in this container, which gives it a little more visibility in the driveway. While I'm at it, I might as well show you that I was at Home Depot and I got a whole pile of yarrows, some oriental poppy, gonna get wet, on sale for $3 each. I recommend, if you're on the hunt for cheap plants, to check weekly because you will find them. Here's another arrangement in the driveway. This one's more easily distributed, and this actually has the bubblegum wave petunia in it. And there for a while, I didn't think it was going to stand up to its reputation. I've grown it before, but all of a sudden it took over and it spread itself out through this arrangement. We've got a lot of white in here, and overall, it's a nicely shaped arrangement. It's all fairly even and symmetrical. So I'm impressed. We'll see what it looks like in August. This is my hot, vivid container of all the bright colors or the bright lights that you would want in an arrangement. I turn these containers all the time. Once a week I come out and I give them a twist because they get the south sun. They get the south sun over there, but then they get the west sun and the morning east sun. So I turn it quite frequently to ensure that they get adequate growth and light that they need. Once again, the magenta wave petunia here is more cascading over and not so much a vertical here, but the other plants are basically making up for it in a lot of respects. It has moved itself through the arrangement here because I only put one of those in there, and it's spread out in here kind of like the bubblegum did. So in my opinion, if you want to grow petunias that spread, waves are the way to go. They really do take off and put on a beautiful show, and I am really happy with them in comparison to the bubblegum. It's okay. It's okay and it's pretty. But the waves really do spread a lot more. I'm now going to sneak across the lawn here so you can see the flower bed. Rob is edging again. So I'm going to show you how that's coming along and how my bed revamp is going. Because I've been working really hard to overhaul this bed. It got ahead of me during the rain, and now I'm changing it. And I'm consolidating plants and putting them together, and I'm just putting different color arrangements together too. So this is what I showed you last week, and you can see here a lot of yarrows going into this bed. The lilies are looking good, and I didn't move the lilies. I'm keeping them. I might add more, but they are looking good. I've got a few bunches of them here. The yarrows, like the yellows here, they're just starting to fade out. I want to split them. I put 2 Annabelle hydrangeas in here that look like I need to come and soak the heck out of them. They're really weeping bad. I'm finding I'm having trouble with hydrangeas this year that are planted because they're constantly dry. So I'm going to come back and really soak them. They need it badly. More lilies in here. The white really shows up in the bed. It's been great. I'm very happy with it. And then over here, we're getting more into the pinks of the lilies. So overall, the bed is coming together. I did move that liatris over there and it has flopped, but it'll snap back. It was pretty hot when I moved it, so I took a chance. But you can see kind of how things are coming together and the lilies are starting to fizzle out. The pots on the step are doing great. I love the corals mixed with the pinks. Once again, magenta wave petunias in here. I think they're looking good. I do like the sun-kissed look of these petunias as well that were no name that I got at Rona. I think they're looking nice, and I like the deep magentas with this color scheme. And then the touch of white that pulls all the colors together. The flowers are really coming into their own here, and I'm happy with painting these globes orange. It worked out well with the color scheme I was going with, and quite honestly, there's something that you could paint differently every year if you like, based on your color scheme. So lots of options there, and the petunias in the little container are doing great. So overall, I think this is a success. Would I do something different? Probably I would add more height in the taller container here at the back. I think I could use a little more height, so like 3 cannas or callas would be great in there, just to poof it up a little bit more. But I think by August these will spread enough that it'll probably fill in a bit better. But this container is more of my pride and joy because it's really filled in nicely, and against the railing on the step, the magenta, I would call these a deep magenta petunia, have really stolen the show here because they've perked right up, and it's going to be time to cut them back soon and give them another flush. But the color is amazing, and that's what this video is about. I just want to share with you some of the colors in the garden and how things are doing. A bit of a garden tour, but mainly just a bit of an update on where things are at. Right here is all my spare petunias that I didn't know what I wanted to do with, but I really wanted to hide this unsightly corner along the deck. I needed to put something in here, so I put some tarp down and I put some crushed rock down, and then I planted these pots up and used them up, and I just winged it, and they're filling in nicely. Because they get north, east sun and a little bit of west, they aren't requiring as much water as many other areas of the garden. So this has been a great thing for this area. And I think I would repeat this again and just put a mishmash of colors in and see what works and what doesn't work. And then I can use that in the future years, how I want to combine flowers. You can see this one is a very dark, moody mix, but I don't mind it at all. I don't want to focus too much on the delphinium, but when I did the video on them, there was a lot in bloom, but now they're all in bloom and they're pretty magnificent for colors. And we got a beautiful night to shoot this video. It's very calm, so it's a perfect time to show them, but they're fabulous. When you get a good season for delphinium, enjoy them. And don't forget to cut them and take them inside. They make a great tall arrangement to put into a corner or a centerpiece for a table. Cabbage, cabbage, and more cabbage. My purple cabbage arrangement's doing well. You can see here it was a bit of an experiment. The cabbage has really spread out and taken over, but I kind of like the mix. It's softened the flowers a bit, but the blues with the purple veins in the cabbage have brought out the colors in the petunias very nicely. I would repeat this again on a larger scale. We'll see if we get any cabbage off of it, but I think it's going to be pretty hard to get any cabbage heads off of this because this container is so packed. So I got some Casablanca lilies on sale and they were all in bloom. So I went ahead and I cut the blooms off, and I'll just plant the bulbs, and I made an arrangement here. There was a lot of them. Like, there is a lot in this mix. In fact, I missed taking the stamens off of that one, and I should have, because if you have them inside, they'll stain furniture. But they are so fragrant and so bold. I had them in my dining room and the house just reeked of lilies to the point that I brought them outside. It was just too many lilies and they are so fragrant. I actually can smell them around the entire backyard. That is 7 stems with lots of flowers on them, you can see, that are just so highly scented. So nice in the garden, not so great in the house in my opinion. 1 stem, okay. 7, wow, powerful. This was an arrangement I did on the back deck, and I used a lot of pineapple sage in that arrangement, which I need to cut back because it's overtaken the container. And then I used fuchsias in it. Now, from some tips for growing fuchsias. The key to growing fuchsias, if you want them to be blooming a lot, is number 1, pinch them back. Number 2, they like tomato fertilizer. Or you can buy a Miracle-Gro tomato and vegetable plant fertilizer. That's what they like to keep them blooming. So there's a tip for you. You can also put the tomato fertilizer spikes in the pot with the fuchsias, and that will also keep them blooming. So we went through a bit of a bloom cycle. I need to come and cut them back because they like to be pinched back a lot, and that will force them to leaf out more, hang over the pot, and bloom some more. So there's some tips for you on that one. I do have a watering can full of pansies. I think they're cute. And you can see the way petunias hanging over the pot right there. It should be cut back. So there's always some sort of maintenance to do with your flowers. This arrangement here is just a bit of everything. We have a fuchsia in here as well. This is a very cute little pink white fuchsia. I do love it. We have the Starry Night petunias there, and just a different kind of mix. The grass is what pulls this arrangement all together. Would I grow petunias from seed again? Well, if you look at this arrangement, it indicates that I should, because these were all the petunias from the Island Waterfall mix from Vessie's, the seed that I planted. And it didn't look like much in the beginning, but you can see here we have a really nice variety of this mix. And so I didn't know what color they were because they're mixed, so I just put them all in the same container. And we have a nice variety here. They're full, they're lush, and these are not a wave petunia. They're just a regular petunia that's in the soft pastel mix of pinks, purples, and whites. But it's very, very full and very, very colorful. So this one had a lot of whites in this arrangement. Still the same plants, and you can see here this had more dark purples in it, a little more moody with the coloring here, but a nice white. And these whites are nice because they have a yellow center on them that makes them really pop. But each one of these arrangements is different depending what I pulled out of the seed starting tray and planted. What I like about these petunias in particular is because they keep a mounding shape. They're regular petunias, but they're nice and mounded. So they look great in arrangements here. They fill out fairly fast, and you can deadhead them. They're pretty good for deadheading themselves, but I still tend to come through here and do some deadheading when I see that it needs to be done or after a rain. But we have a really good variety of colors, and it's very bright in the garden, especially against the backdrop of delphiniums. It looks really sharp. So yes, I would consider planting these again. So if you're interested in this seed and you like the look of these flowers, you want to go to Vessie's site and you want to get the Island Waterfall mix and plant them. And quite honestly, the more the better, because some of the smaller seed packs only come with 10-20 seeds, so I tend to gravitate toward buying a larger amount of seed and planting them, because then you have more to fill in your pots, and I'd rather have more than not enough. From being an area of just dirt last year to an area where I planted a bunch of flowers, I put in a bunch of those waterfall mix in here too, along the cottage garden bed, or Matilda's garden. And you can see things are taking off. I've also come through here and added some red yarrow, which I really like. And then I added the gold flame honeysuckle in there, and I put it on my feeding station for the orioles. I've added some zinnias in here. The dianthias came back, and then we have the brilliant terracotta yarrow in here. And this has become one of my favorite areas of the garden because of the colors. It's looking really good. So things are starting to come together here. I am still laying down cardboard and doing sheet mulching. There's just not enough time in the day, I'll admit it, but eventually it'll be done. I just keep working on it bit by bit. But you can see here, this bed has more shade. It's not as bold and vibrant as this bed. So you can see where some areas get more sun and others don't. The pots by the shed are looking good. I have to hand water these, and I did pick up a basket on sale for $5, so I planted in this pot. But that's probably one of the few areas I do have to water by hand, and that's fine. I do like the purples and the variety of purples with the green of the shed. So once I decorate this up more, it should look quite pretty. But I'm thinking a pile of pots here is the way to go for more color. And last but not least, the miniature roses are now starting to flower. I need to come through and feed them again and give them a prune. But we can see we're starting to get some good color in here. The pinks are really starting to stand out. And they're very, very vibrant in their coloring. Maybe not as vibrant as last year, but I will be adding more roses in here. I need to go hunting for some, and then they will stand out more. The sick rose that I nursed back to health is coming along nicely, and there's really nothing I can say bad about this bed other than it needs some more roses in it, and I need to move the yarrow, and I need to move the salvia. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be bringing you more walkabouts in the garden to show you what's blooming. But I really wanted to share how the roses were doing. For those of you that follow my miniature rose videos, they do great outside, and the more the merrier. So thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next video.